So, yeah, there you will have the opportunity to get a tapered war belt. John, I've got a question. Is there a real boogeyman? If yes, who or what is it? Yeah, there is.
It's the government.
It's whatever you're scared of, right? Is there a boogeyman? When we were kids, we were worried there's a monster under the bed, or, there was something in the closet, right? And that kept you up, and it kept you busy, and it kept you preoccupied. And I think that as we become adults and we're in a position where we're more responsible for ourselves, and the things that you put your time into actually affect you, right? I think the boogeyman is most of the stuff we see on the news and social media, right? It is designed to preoccupy you. Watch this. Don't watch us stealing all this money from you.
It's a distraction.
They don't want you to know that every dollar you make as a grown-up, 65% goes to taxes by the time you spend it. If you put money in your bank account, in a year, you will have less money in your bank account because they steal the money. When you spend the money, there's a tax. You pay multiple taxes on it. That's the boogeyman, right? Be scared of this and don't realize this, because when you realize those things, you also can realize that you don't have to participate in those things. When you do business in a different manner, you start your own things, educate your own children. The things that we are scared of that we cannot change or affect, that's the boogeyman, right? Everybody's talking about Ukraine, and there's guided missile cruisers off the coast of New York right now, and all these things. Can you change it? Are you making some Facebook posts or putting that little Ukraine patch on for your avatar? Is that going to change anything for you? Nope. There's not a fucking thing you can do about it. Russia's going to nuke us. Can you change it? Russia's going to nuke us for the last fucking, ever since I was a child, right?
That's
in the 80s, all through the Cold War, we were supposed to get nuked. I ain't seen it yet. I have not seen in 50 years of my life, nothing's destroyed the world yet. I can't change that. But I could move a lot slower and move in fear, and I'm not going to work my ass off and make this money to make my future family's life better because the world's going to end. And there's a lot of motherfuckers. It's the whole conversation of I'm not buying property because I still have to pay taxes. That's fine. The motherfucker you're paying rent to be more than happy that you're paying all his fucking mortgages, because you can use that to do other things. Well, then you don't really own it. Okay. Stay poor, motherfucker. Everybody needs slaves.
Or I'm not going to work because then I have to pay taxes.
That's the boogeyman. And and that government knows that, right? Okay, let's talk UBI. We're going to give everybody $1,000. And to start with, we will give everyone $1,000. But as soon as you say some shit we don't like, you're not getting that $1,000. So here's the deal. Tim Pool used this example the other night. He's like, okay, when I was a kid, I was getting paid $14, and now he's still a kid, right? What is he, under 30? You have to pay a grocery stalker. They have these guys that just come in and face. It's called facing, right? It moves all the stuff forward. My cousin did that as a kid. Worked at Vaughn's grocery store, and you face so that everything's forward, so that people don't realize the last box of Cheerios is in the back, right? You pull it forward so it looks like the shelves are full. Go to Walmart right now and look. The shelves are not full. The shelves have not been full for a decade. When I was a kid, we had warehouses behind all the grocery stores where everything was, and they would just go bring it out. It's called just-in-time manufacturing now, just-in-time inventory. Every day there are trucks coming into Walmart, because if trucks stopped coming into Walmart, there'd be no food in Walmart after 12 hours. Even now, you go to Walmart, there is shit missing.
Yep.
You look at in the food section, you have fucking lawn chairs and Christmas decorations to fill that up because they're missing things. So we pay a guy $14 an hour to come through several times a day to face these boxes. Then the government's like, we're going to give you UBI. We're going to give you $1,000. And the kid that's making $1,000, getting the free $1,000, he doesn't have to work 3 hours a day to get 14 an hour because he needs it to buy food. Government's going to give him $1,000. Now he can just buy food and not come to work. So Walmart's like, well, I guess we're going to have to pay these people more, right? We're going to pay them more now. We're going to pay them $20 an hour. And the guy's got, okay, I get 1,000 and they're going to give me 20. That sounds pretty good. I can buy some Pokemon cards I want, right? That's what Tim Pool actually said, Pokemon. Fucking goofball.
He's 5.
Yeah. What, are you trying to bait some children? So now the kid's like, okay, $20. So Walmart's paying $20 to have this kid come through and face this shit, right? So now they're paying this money, and Walmart's like, okay, well, our profit's not as high because we have this expense going out here. We're going to have to raise all the price of the food. So now the kid who was like, okay, it's worth it for me to work for $20 an hour and still get the extra $1,000 for the government. Now food costs more. Now he can't buy his Yu-Gi-Oh card. It's just a huge circle. When you give people free money and they spend the free money, everything costs more for the fucking motherfuckers that actually work. Yep. It's a vicious cycle. You want to see how UBI works? Look no further than your Indian reservation. Who on an Indian reservation looks like they are fucking performing and making money?
Fuck, go to Alaska.
The casinos. The casinos.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's the deal. It is not the money. It is the mindset. And that is the boogeyman.
That's what I was going to say. All the doom and gloom is the food that feeds the boogeyman. Mm-hmm. The real boogeyman is yourself.
Yes, if you're bringing a problem to me, bring me a motherfucking solution. Eggs are $7. Are you not in a position to where you could just do something a few minutes or an extra hour of the day to where you could
earn
don't care,
$7,
right? Because I war game this in my head, right? I'm like, okay, eggs are $7. I'm getting 100 eggs a day. Maybe at $7 a dozen eggs, it's worth it for me to deal with the community. Why? Because food costs twice, like the feed, okay? The feed is not $14 a bag. It is now $22 a bag. Okay, so we're spending all this money. We're getting these eggs, but we're feeding the eggs to the dogs. I have so many eggs, my employees. Do I want to kill the chickens? No, I don't want to get rid of the chickens because something might change, and it'd be good to have the excess of eggs. But we're giving them away. Maybe we should profit and cover the cost of the feed, right? So then $7 eggs on Camden, Tennessee, right? And then Billy Bob comes up here with his 3-wheel truck. 3 wheels are one size and one's the other size, and his tail pipes dragging, scuffing up my driveway. Will you take $3? No. Are you sure? Yes. And now you've got a bunch of people here who didn't know we were here, and they know we've got chickens, and they're trying to come get chicken eggs on the weekends and steal them. Do I want to open myself up to that?
No.
Or should I just make a couple social media posts and go, hey, I've got 6 of these tool bags here right now, and sell one of them that's $200, and that $200 or more will more than cover all the cost of the feed, that right? So do I put my time into something I already do that is definitely profitable, or do I open myself up to others? Now, that's all practice, because we do make eggs and we know how to make eggs, and we do make firewood and we know how to make firewood, and we do make fucking freeze-dried eggs, and we do freeze-dried chicken, right? Right now, I can move all of my excess. I could just take those eggs and put them in the freeze dryer and then sell them to my existing customers right through the mail. So I don't have Cletus and Billy Bob showing up here, right? Because that is the threat, right? When they know you have something, there is an element there that will try to take it from you. And I like to live in a manner that my life is normal, right? I don't want to have to worry about extra security on the weekends.
Less complicated.
I don't want to have to worry about somebody coming through and leaving a gate open or some shit, right? I mean, we always have. We're to the point now, somebody is always on the property. When a set of us leaves, there's somebody here. We have enough people living on the property now. But that is always the thought, right? Mm-hmm. So let's take a break. Jeremy made coconut curry, which I'm excited about. Let's see how this is. And then we will come back and eat. We're going to go eat, and we will come back. All right, so are we recording?
Yes.
All right, we're back from lunch.
It was delicious.
Scott Taylor. John, I got a question. Is there a real boogeyman? We did that one. How'd you get these little tan hands on here?
I don't know.
You use a color printer?
Oh, yeah, I printed it that color, but he has them as his name.
Because he's tan. He's the Philippine nomad. Somehow, we also have an egg shortage over here. Philippines. Coincidence? They're claiming bird flu again, but the meat culls is not affected, only the eggs. What's your take on the seemingly artificial manufactured farm-raised shortages? No orders yet till I nail down my forwarding shipping address, California, Texas. So it is man-made, right? You keep hearing that all these birds got the bird flu, and the bird flu killed them. And that's not the case. Human beings killed them. They culled them. They I'm sure that someplace, somewhere, there is some bird flu. They use the PCR test, and they can ramp that up to give a positive on anything they want. Just like a police officer stopping you with a dog, he can alert the dog to alert, and the dog will bark whether you have drugs or whatever you're being accused of or not. And that's how that bird flu stuff with that test is working. They have culled, human beings killed 57 million birds in the United States. 57 million birds did not die of bird flu. They were killed by people. I heard somebody saying yesterday that the FDA is telling people to cull their own birds. That's not even the case. Well, some people might be culling their birds. The health departments and powers that be show up and euthanize your animals. They come in, do a test on one of your animals. They don't even test multiples. They test one animal, you get one positive, they euthanize all your birds. Now, it's not happening so much on little flocks, although it is happening on little flocks in the beginning. Some of the big, and you perceive them to be big, but they're not huge businesses, but these places where you buy chicks and stuff, mail order from, some of those places did get them, and there were some videos, and they're like, yeah, we did have a dead animal, and the next day we had another dead animal, and so we figured we better call. They came out, tested them, and we had to euthanize all these birds. And the way that looked like from what I saw was they're putting them in trash cans and using like nitrogen on them or whatever, gassing them. But mostly it's bigger poultry operations and chicken houses and stuff. Like they killed 150,000 in one barn. So that's going to affect those things, right? It's going to affect the cost plus the elevated price and distribution and shipping. And I mean, I think everybody can agree that there is some kind of attack on food production. You have tons of food, and you'll hear people like, oh, we always have airplanes crash into food places. Oh, it happens every year. Yeah, it does happen every year. 5, 6 of them, not fucking 300 plus, right? And if you look at fuel refineries, they're burning to the ground. And maybe it's lack of maintenance, maybe it's other things, but I mean, there's airplanes crashing into those fucking things too. So it looks like an orchestrated attack. And in the last couple days, maybe it's been there longer, but it's everywhere in the last couple of days, how dangerous it is to raise your own chickens. You need to know the hazards of raising your own chickens. You need to know the risk of keeping poultry. And then another one is eating eggs is dangerous and is causing blood clots. Oh, is that the case? I would like to see a correlation between the people who they're saying died from, had issues from eating too much eggs because of the choline. I'd like to see the correspondence with how many of those people had the vaccination. Show me, I don't know, show me 10% that weren't vaxxed that had the strokes and the blood clots that they say coming from eggs. Show me those numbers. So I think we can kind of agree, even if you don't. I mean, the outcome's the same, right? Are there eggs or are there not eggs? Do they cost more? Do they not cost more? I mean, we can come up with 100 reasons. I think most of us believe probably the same thing. But even if you don't believe that, and you're like, no, that's all bullshit. You're probably not here if you believe that. But if you are and you do believe that, is the outcome the same? The outcome's still the same, so what are you going to do about it?
The outcome is still that there's been several places we've gone that they don't have any fucking chicken to serve you at a restaurant.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, there was yeah, that is right. We have been several places. And that's big chicken, right? That's Tyson, Purdue, all those places. We don't really eat that chicken, so we eat our own chickens. Isaac Barrett, having raised your kids, what's your take on current state of affairs in child's entertainment?
It's a fucking disaster.
Seems no matter where you turn, the woke agenda is being pushed. Yeah, so why do we keep letting our kids have access to that, right? Why do we keep exposing our kids to that? And a lot of times it's just
babysitter.
Or it's laziness, right? We give the kids the pacifier right here.
The babysitter, yeah.
You give them the iPad. I mean, you walk in a fucking restaurant now, and every kid has an iPad or a video. And by the way, piece of shit, if you give your kid this fucking thing and somebody else has to hear it, you're a piece of shit. Nobody wants to listen to you fucking talk on the phone.
Nope.
Nobody wants to listen to your shitty fucking kids' devices. Nobody should have to hear it. So put some fucking things in your kids' ears, be a better parent, but nobody should have to fucking hear the bullshit that your kids listen to
Yeah,
because you're too fucking lazy to parent your child.
Because fucking Dora the Explorer blasting out of your fucking cell phone while your kid's at the table is just as bad as your fucking kid bouncing off the walls.
But that's why do we keep giving access to that, right? So the algorithms on YouTube, when they were working, right, they would put together there was these bizarre fucking videos all over the place. Mm-hmm. And it was Hitler dancing with a female body, and Hitler injecting people with syringes, and animated cartoons of people drinking their own urine was a very popular one. And that's what was coming up, targeted to your children. When your children were watching cartoons and stuff, you'd put on Dora the Explorer or whatever, you'd put on Disney, and it would just run from video to video. And then all of a sudden you'd look at what your kid's watching, and he's watching Hitler, and he's watching all these people drink urine and a bunch of stuff with injections and syringes. That was the algorithm. That's when it was working, right? Like they just had this Google, I believe it was Google, had an AI thing that was running, and they had to turn it off because it became racist. Like, so everybody hates racism and everything, okay, you know, right? We can agree on that, but the fucking AI seems to think that's what people wanted, and apparently it was because they were watching it. That couldn't have all been people just handing iPads to their children. There must be something to that. So we know it's there. Stop doing it, right? Stop sending your kids to government school. Stop sending your kids to people who hate your way of life and then wondering why your kids grow up hating your way of life. We know it's there. We are just complacent and fucking lazy. It's raise your fucking kids. I can't. Well, you can. You just have to figure out how to. You can. And that's the biggest thing, right? You can't because both parents work, because we've kicked the wife out of the house and convinced her that it's her responsibility to earn an income. And part of that is that it almost is to the point where you have to have two adult income earners to even have the house lifestyle that, you know, most people are accustomed to or want at this point. And that, I believe, was by design, especially, you know, so that you do have to send your kids to government school. So, because it's generational, right? They're not going to be able to come around and round the guns up from U.S. citizens, but they can convince kids that they don't like guns and that guns are evil and they're the responsibility for everything. And they get programmed by these fucking wacko liberals. And then when you expire or pass away, the kids will just turn the guns in because they're programmed that the guns are evil. They need to disarm the population. Why all the crazy shit that's going on in Europe right now, all the crazy shit going on in Australia and Canada, they can't do that because the U.S. population has fucking guns and they have to get rid of them. And it's a long game. They're all the same people. We have this perception that we have a U.S. government and a Chinese government and a Canadian government. All of those people in charge, they're all partying at the same fucking places. They're all going to Davos or they're going to the fucking island. They're all in the same fucking place, right? Because that government is for us, not for them. And they do not want America and the United States. They don't want it to be the way it is. They don't want America to be the superpower. So they, you know, break it down from the inside. You're going to be surprised when something pops off that there's a bunch of foreign fighters that are not fucking U.S. citizens living in the United States. They're already here. They're letting them cross the fucking border. They keep telling you the numbers they're stopping. Imagine the ones they're not stopping and who's been embedded here over the last fucking decade. What kind of sleeper cells are here? Now, you did have people that Russia sent over here for espionage and they liked the United States so much they just fucking dispersed and became U.S. citizens. But people like that, they're always on the winning team. And as soon as there's some hope that the other side is winning, they will jump fucking to that side. And that's what's happening. Stop sending your kids to be raised by people that hate you and put forth more fucking effort to know what the fuck your kids are doing. Derek Olson, where do most people stay when they travel to Tennessee for Self-Reliance Festival? Are most people staying at hotels in the bigger cities? Is there any hotels that you and Amanda prefer when you go out of town to the bigger cities in Tennessee? Thank you for your hard work. So when they come to Self-Reliance Festival, we don't have hotels. We have motels. And the motels fill up all the way from the interstate into Camden.
Hell, all the way out to Paris.
All the way to Paris. And there's a lot more in Paris than here. Paris is 30 minutes away. You could stay in Dixon, which has all up and down the interstate now. They're building fucking hotels. I don't know who the fuck's staying in all these hotels, but they are fucking building hotels and motels everywhere. If there's a major gas station, there's a motel there. We have several in town. People come here and camp. There's tons of Airbnbs. There's tons of campsites. There's parks.
Cabins out by the lake.
Yeah, they call them cabins. They're like mobile homes out there. Some of them actually are cabins. There's a squad bay out there that fucking will sleep 36 people in one building. There's options around here. It's just how much amenities you want, right? So if you're the guy that's coming into town going to train at TAC Response, and you got the foo-foo wife that has to be where there's a Starbucks and a Barnes & Noble and a Prada, well, you're going to have to stay all the way in Nashville. But there is plenty of lodging around here. Look at Airbnb. Like, if you're not sure, there's an Airbnb for every budget.
So me and Cody were just looking at Airbnbs yesterday. And so typically the Best Western, I think that's what it's called,
Yes.
that's the major hotel in town here in Camden, and they're like $150 a night.
Hold on now. That's because that's what the cost is now. Everything costs more now.
Right.
There is no more $39 a night motel.
And then we were looking at Airbnbs, and like we saw Airbnbs for like $80 a night.
Yeah.
Within Camden and Paris area.
Yeah, it just depends when.
Yeah,
How
and-
many nights you're going to book for.
Exactly. But what time of year is
Now,
another big
there's
thing.
there's these other companies out there that Verbo or whatever, and they would have you believe that every time you Airbnb, you're renting a room in a house with 4 other families. We've Airbnb'd a bunch of times, and we've never
always just
stayed
a
in
house.
a property where there's like grandma living in the corner. So I don't know. I mean, there's places to stay here.
If I was looking for a place to stay the weekend, 4 days, something like that, it would definitely be Airbnb because the river is right here. I guess they call it the lake, but it's a river. And looks like there's a lot of stuff to do there when in your downtime,
Yeah. What hotel do we use typically?
As far as us, we typically will stay in a Hilton brand hotel because we get points for every night that we stay there. But I have to say, out of all of the hotels we've stayed in, I have 2 favorites. One is the Edwin in Chattanooga, and the other one was the Chandler in Atlanta.
The Chandler's $1,000 a night.
Well, I mean, the
Room,
Edwin
no.
was like $400 a night. So.
Yeah, those are boutique hotels.
Yeah.
Those are, but the
you can-
Chandler is owned by who? That is
Coca-Cola.
no.
The Coca-Cola
That
building.
hotel is in another hotel line though.
Oh yeah, they're all in another
I
hotel.
don't remember what it was called.
But you can find Hilton brand hotels for like $100 a night in most big cities.
they have like silver, gold, and diamond level or something. And what you'll find a lot of times when you utilize the same brand of hotel over and over, and you're in their system, when you roll in, they're like, we don't have any rooms. You're like, I'm a gold level member. They're like, oh, because all of those hotels, they have a room. They just don't have a room for you. So when you frequent and you utilize the same brand of whatever it is, you will find that you can get preference at those places.
Yeah, there's been times like we've been in Atlanta, one time specifically, and we rolled in there kind of spur of the moment, and I called hotels and they're like, oh, we don't have any rooms, and I'm like, but I'm like this Hilton Gold level, and they were like, oh, well, actually, yeah, we do have a queen size room. It's on the top floor. It's in a corner. It's got all the so of course they have a fucking room, even if they tell you they don't.
Also, like we roll in when we go into Blade Show or whatever, we book out almost the entire floor. We have a whole floor, so they know that shit. So
I haven't done this in a while, but you used to be able to just give them $20 and they'll do whatever you ask.
I don't think $20 is the number anymore.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think you can do that. It would have to be 50, 60, 70, something like that.
When we've been in Vegas, they're like, valet's closed. I'm like, how much for valet not to be closed? And they're like, well, what are you offering? And I'll give them $100 bill, and they're like, park right in the front. And he's like, hey, next time, $50 always does it.
Yeah.
We were at Cracker Barrel a month or so ago, and kids like 45 minutes wait. I'm like, how about I give you $50 and you call me in 2 minutes? And he kind of laughed. And then in 2 minutes, my name got called. I go, did you do that? He goes, yeah. So we sat down. I walked back over, handed him a business card with $50. I'm like, hey, thanks. Check me out. You know, because there were some people around. I didn't want to bust them out. But a lot of places where there's a wait for the right price, whatever that price is, there's no longer a wait.
Yeah.
Because like you walk in and the rest, there's always empty tables.
Yep.
Put me there.
That goes back to like the people you're arguing with can have
Yes.
the power to make your
That's
day
right.
good or bad, you know?
Yep.
And you could do that with them. Like they're not making much money, so make their night and they'll take care of you.
Yeah, and I think that happens everywhere. People
Yeah.
just aren't aware of it. We just had a lady out of the blue email or messages through the Special Operations Equipment Facebook page, and she's like, "Hey, do you have a wholesale division?" And then sends another message right away. I have a client that only uses U.S. products. Do you do any wholesale? And you know, would you be interested? And I'm like, what items are you looking for? That's how I replied, because I replied like a few minutes later. And then when I see her message, she's like, that's super rude. You should do business better. You should get somebody to handle your business. You know, this isn't a good way to develop a relationship. And she still didn't. I go, you're fucking done here. I go, you're done. I go, move along and make sure you show this message to whoever referred you, because she said somebody referred us. And I said, you want butt hugging and coddling, you're in the wrong fucking place. If you want you want fucking performance and accomplishment of mission, then that's us. I go, we build gear for good guys that kill bad guys all over the world. And that's really what it comes down to. You know, it's because it's a girl. And I know women are listening to this, not you guys. But John, there's guys that, yeah, those are fucking dudes that should have been chicks. Like, fuck that person. Like, I don't know what you fucking thought was going to happen.
I really believe that we're in a time in life where everybody feels like they are entitled to be offended by something, but not by something, but literally by everything. I mean, you can look in somebody's direction and they're offended that you gave them a look or whatever. And it's insane to me how we have evolved to this point where everybody's so fucking sensitive.
People see me staring at them. I can't even fucking see you. Like, I'm looking past you, or if I'm looking at your tits, don't have words on your fucking shirt. I'm trying to, I don't know what if you don't want people to fucking look at you, then don't have fucking print on your shirt, right? It makes no sense, man.
Or the people who have tattoos and then they get mad at you for trying
to
look
you staring at me? Well, you because I can see your teeth through the side of your mouth. Like,
you've made yourself a spectacle.
Yeah, because you have painted your fucking body and I want to look at it.
We used to pay to go to a sideshow. Now you're in the line at Walmart.
Yeah.
It just makes no sense. So that's the last question. Episode 26, question and answer. That was a short one. So we are back to work.
Back to work.